Hi, this is Jody from MCPActions.com. Today I'm going to do another Watch Me Work session where you get to actually watch me edit a photo. And the one I picked today is actually a really nice photo submitted from one of my training students. And we're going to go ahead and work on this. It's a really nice out of the camera shot. It's really pretty, but just lacks a little punch. Her eye sockets look a little dark and such. So the first thing I'm going to do is run Touch of Light, Touch of Darkness. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that I can actually lighten up her eye sockets. That's the first thing I notice. This may look a little pixelated because I'm at 200%. I'm going to zoom back down a little bit. We're going to use the paintbrush tool, and I'm going to make the paintbrush smaller by using the left bracket key. And I'm going to change the opacity down to about 20 or so percent. I'm going to come in here and actually paint on her eyes so we can actually lighten the eye socket area. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually just paint once over her face and a little bit over her arms to brighten her skin up as well. And actually I'll do it on her feet too, so everything stays pretty consistent. And I'm using a soft edge airbrush. You can see up in here, my hardness is set kind of in the middle, about 42%. I could make it a little fluffier, and I probably will for some other editing I'm going to do in a moment. Okay, now that we've got that done, I'm going to do a few more items before I then call it base, which you'll see in a moment. I'm going to use the Quickie Collection to edit this today, and I'm going to run Crackle, which adds a lot of mid-tone contrast. I'm going to actually come in here with Crackle and actually erase using black back on the eye area because it does add a lot of contrast. I'm going to increase my percent to 100. It adds a lot of contrast, so it's going to take away some of what we did accomplished with the touch of light otherwise. So I did tap on the eyes real quick. You don't have to, but in this situation, because they were dark, I did. Then we're going to go ahead and call this our base action. So we'll come in here and do a snapshot, and we're going to call this base. And we can now, if we want to do any other work, we'll always be able to come back to that. We can try and see if we like underexposure fixer, which it wasn't really underexposed, but if we want to brighten things up a little bit, I'm going to take the opacity of that down. And let's see here. Let's try color flare. And I like the results of that. That's looking pretty nice. We could also come back in if we wanted, and we could click back over to Touch of Light, Touch of Darkness, and actually run it again, but this time use our darkness layer. And with a white brush at about 30% opacity, we can come in and actually burn the edges of this. So this is one way to do this. And you'll see that way it gets a little bit more intense around the background, and you'll see I'm using a totally soft edge airbrush, and that way it's very forgiving. And there's our picture. So now let's go ahead and we're going to name this one Color Flare with Touch of Dark. Okay, so we know what it is. Next, we're going to come back to our base layer. And this time, let's go ahead in the Quickie set. And we already have all those base things we did. And let's go ahead this time and run Color Sensations. We can kind of see how that does. Oh, that's really nice. Okay, and this time let's go ahead and we'll run the non-destructive dodge and burn for something different. This one, you actually use a white to lighten, and you switch it to black to darken. And you're going to want to use a very low opacity brush. I'm down at 16% right now. And if we paint with black, we darken. So similar effect to the Touch of Light, Touch of Darkness. It actually works pretty fast, you'll see. And that gives us a nice little vignette at the edges as well. We could actually burn the very edges a little bit more if we wanted as well. Okay, so let's go ahead now and we will label this one. This one was Color Sensation and Non-Destructive Dodge and Burn. Okay, next thing we'll do is we'll go again back to the base, and this time I'm going to run Night Color. I'm just going to run it all by itself. And I love the look of this one. This one probably doesn't even need a lot of burning or anything around the edges at all. It really just kind of worked. This one looks great for this photo. If we want to change the opacities of things and make them even richer or a little less rich, we can play with the opacity slider. Also, we can come in here with the overexposure fixer. It's on by default, but we can actually turn it off if it's not needing, if it wasn't overexposed anywhere. So I'm going to actually turn that layer off. And pump up the color. You can see that adds a lot of richness as well. So I'm going to go ahead in here in the history palette, and I'm going to call this one Night Color. And lastly, let's go ahead back to our base. And we're going to run on this last one. Let's run Throwback Vintage or Old Fashioned. Let's try Throwback first, see if we like that. It's okay, I'm not loving it. We're not going to save that one for this particular picture. We'll go back to the base again, and let's try Grammy's Old Fashioned Vintage. And this one looks really nice with this photo. It's a lot softer of a look, but actually really nice. I like the way this one worked better on it. And again, overexposure fixer is built in to this one, but I'm going to turn it off. Looks good like that. So we'll just name it Grammys. So you can see this is one picture, and we did our base actions from the Quickie collection and then expanded on those, and also used touch of light, touch of darkness on a few of them. And here's our results. This was our original. Here's our base action. Then we did color flare. That was color flare. Went back to base and did color sensation. Went back to the base, did night color, and went back to the base and did the Grammys Vintage. So all beautiful looks for this picture, all different ways you can accomplish them with just a couple clicks of the button and a couple opacity changes. Looks really nice. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This is Jody from MCPActions.com. Hope to be doing more of these soon. If you ever have a picture you would like to submit for one of these, Watch Me Works, please go ahead and let me know. Thank you so much, and I will be coming at you soon with more information and more tutorials.